Yo, what's happening, everybody? We back up in this thing. Do a little, if we can get enough folks up in here, do some conversation, some Q&A with the HuGGY B. See if I figure out how to send invites to folks. Which that may just only show me who's active at the time. Maybe why sometimes folks pop up, sometimes they don't. But we get some folks up in here, provide some questions. And I guess in the meantime, because my last one referenced my boy Get Musty. He sent me got a couple of questions on YouTube a couple of days ago. Excuse me. And I answered a few of them earlier. And like I said, in the meantime, until we get some folks up in here, I guess I'll just answer the rest of his questions. So I think I answered how I became an Auburn fan. As you can see, I wasn't kidding about that Auburn man, member of No Nation thing either. War damn eagle, fear the spear. Let's see, how did I become an Auburn fan? I got that one. How do I feel about Auburn starting the next season? I got that one. Oh yeah, one of them was how did I meet, or how did I, find out about Nick and them, which Nick and them, he's talking about Nick, Marcus, that's the Water Cooler Talk podcast I was talking about earlier. Check them out, man. Good folks. And Nick be working his ass off with the analysis, bro. I don't think he realizes how good he really is at it. He's as good as any of these mugs. He's got these, hundreds of thousands of followers. He's right there with all of them. He may not just have the experience, but once he catches the experience, he's going to lap all these cats. Which I'll also will include, because I referenced the other show, Auburn Addicts, my boy DC. I'm going to include them in the answer to the question as part of Nick and them. Because I actually found Auburn Addicts first, before Water Cooler Talk. And I actually was thinking about this the other day. How did I meet them? And it just was by happenstance. It's either immediately. I'm trying to also plug up my phone. Battery don't run down. There we go. Hell, I'm doing that stupid bullshit. But it was out. I forget. I wish I could remember all the details, because I'm curious too how it all goes. But my memory serves correctly. It was just by happenstance. It was either immediately after a game or the next day, like Saturday or Sunday. I mean, and I don't know. They just popped up in my thing or whatever on YouTube, and it was Auburn Addicts first, and I really dug the artwork, that DC has. It looks really cool and unique, makes him kind of stand out. And they were live, so I jumped in, and they just fit like a pair of custom-made green Stacey Adams with that gold buckle on the side. Shout out to everybody who just chuckled at that, because they know what I'm talking about. And after I, talked to them or DC, y'all know how it is in the live, you leave a comment, they say something. Then they were like, DC's like, hey, go subscribe to this other channel. Because at first I wasn't sure. Like, wait a minute, whose channel is which? And then, of course, then you figure it out. And that's basically how I met them, just by happenstance after an Auburn game. And it's dug the vibe, Like I said, both of them great channels. If you're an Auburn fan, definitely go subscribe, friend them, do all that other stuff. I guess you subscribe on Facebook. Like I said, in an earlier thing, I still ain't figured all the lingo and the ins and outs of everything. So y'all, I'm assuming everybody knows more about this than I do. So y'all know what to do. Go check out Auburn Addicts. Also, since we throw in shout outs, we'll hit everybody. Gotta say shout out to my boy B Sharp and Tez over at Sharpshooters, Coach Sean, Sharpshooters Sports. Go check them out too. They're part of that whole little group with Water Cooler, Auburn Addicts. You got Sharpshooters, and then old tripping ass Tight. Need to check them sneakers, bruh. Over there at Tight Sports at the Alabama Megacast. Nah, he cool. I give him grief, but he's cool. He's alright. Go check all them guys out, man. Which there's, if you're an Auburn fan, there's several, different channels or whatever you can check out. Righteously though, once I really got into Water Cooler Talk and AUX, I hadn't really followed anybody else. And I think maybe in the last couple of months, Up Tempo, which is a cool, Justin and Blake, go check them out. And because I was actually watching them a good bit before I found DC and Nick and them. That was really all. I just got to where they were pretty much all I was checking out on Auburn. But they cool. Go check them out too. Up Tempo. Go shout them out. They've shown HuGGY some love. But that's about all I get all my Auburn stuff from Water Cooler Talk and AU Addicts, Auburn Addicts. And my Florida State, I had to check out, early on last year and just stop watching any Florida State coverage because, and it's just my opinion, but after the debacle with the getting, quote, snubbed out of the playoffs and everything, which was a debacle and a travesty, and I don't really care who likes it, but Jordan Travis, if he don't get hurt, Florida State's winning that national championship. They just are. Too many of the numbers lined up. That whole team came back to win a championship. So if Jordan Travis don't go down, sorry, Michigan, y'all ain't raising no trophy last year. So yeah, it sucked. Or the year before last. But yeah, it sucked. But afterwards, that's all that any of the Florida State channels that a couple of few that I have, that's all they talked about was the snub, and did it break the program, and did it break the coach, and it really reminded me of Bama fans when they get their panties in a twist about something, and I got to where I couldn't watch it anymore because that's all anybody talked about was the snub. And even in last year, they were still talking about it. And I hate to break it to all of my fellow Florida State fans. First of all, if that getting left out of the playoffs that year, if that broke the coach and broke the program, then there was something already wrong. Because it's hard for me to say what I'm about to say. Because, yeah, I'm a proud member of Noel Nation, but I'm an Auburn man. So it's going to be hard for me to say this. But if anybody had a beef about getting left out of the playoffs, it should have been Georgia. I mean, let's just be real about that. Back-to-back champions, hadn't lost a game in damn near 3 years, and they lose a major conference championship to a playoff team by, like, what, a field goal? First loss in, like, 3 years, and then they get dropped from number 1 to 6, and y'all want to cry that it broke the program? No, bro. If that snub is responsible for all the woes that Florida State's going through right now, then there was already something else wrong. Because, as we all saw, that snub didn't bother Georgia. They showed up, and they just, I don't even know what to call what happened. Y'all saw that Orange Bowl. So I don't even know what to call that. But apparently it didn't break them. So I had to just check out of all Florida State stuff. There actually is one particular channel. I'm not going to try to, I'm not 100% out of 2 channels. I'm not 100% which one is the actual name, so I'm not going to shout them out. But it's not one of the, quote, major ones. And it kind of reminds me of Nick and M, like that, it's, professional style coverage, but it's not all churched up and polished, and they got to worry about, pissing this one off if they say the wrong thing, all that stuff. I've said this about water cooler. It is really like hanging out with your partners, just shooting the breeze, talking mess about, each other's teams. That's what really keeps me from watching all the other ones. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too polished. And then you start noticing that basically all the major ones are saying the same basic things over and over and over. So, but I'll get back after I end this live. I'm going to go, because now I'm trying to remember who that brother was, that Florida State channel, because he actually was doing a really good job. And, but like I said, I just checked out of everything, so I hadn't, And when I finally, a couple months ago, decided, like, man, maybe they're talking about something different now. Let me check them out. That's when it's announced that Gus Malzahn's the new offensive coordinator. And I just was like, you know what? Going back on strike. I can't help it, man. I got PTSD bad from that Gus Malzahn, righteously, bro. And, so I said earlier, I don't feel good about Auburn starting the season next year. I don't know what to feel about Florida State. It could be a repeat last year, or could show up and Gus got his running back averaging 200 yards a game again. So I guess we'll see once the season starts. See any more mugs. See, man, them big stubby fat fingers. Who this is creeping down there? What they doing? Yeah, probably one of the neighbors. But you take the boy out of Robinwood. You can't take Robinwood out the boy. You come through creeping down the street where I live, and I'm gonna put eyes on you. Want to know where you're going? Yeah, but that's just happens where I come from. Is what it is. Where I'm at now in HuGGY B, I ain't really got to worry about that stuff that much. But shout out everybody in Robinwood, in Tarrant City, Alabama, for real. But you didn't leave that quick? No, you didn't know nobody on the street, did you? Son of a bitch. Yeah. So, get back on topic. I'm trying to answer my man, Get Musty's questions. Bro, how y'all still shooting off fireworks, man? It's the 5th. Get over there, mess, bro. Let's see. That's how I hooked up with Nick and them. What else did he have? Oh, yeah, he had a good one. If I could collab with any Auburn, content creator, or whatever you want to call it, who would it be? Or collab with, I guess, anybody, Auburn-wise, which, righteously, if I decided I was going to jump off in that sports cover, football coverage game, I'd want to work with Nick at DC. Obviously I already got a rapport with him, that's who I would pick just in this moment. Up tempo, that'd be cool too, but righteously outside of them, I don't get me wrong, I ain't hating on none of the other channels, because I used to watch Locked On Auburn a lot. But like I said, once I found Addicts and Water Cooler, that's where I get my stuff from now. So if I was going to pick somebody to do something football related, it'd be either Nick or DC. Work with them. If I wanted to go the route of working with somebody not Auburn, I guess, in sports, then I'd go with, I guess, Sharp and them. But and righteously, I'd probably go with them just to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I was to try to get with anybody else right now, there's no rapport there, so they're just going to expect me to step in like, this isn't his first rodeo. But with them, Nick and them, or DC, they're going to know, like, hey, we need to show him little pointers, we need to give him some, inside info, this, that, and the third. And so that's who I would go with. If on my, on my end, sorry about that, if I was to say who would I'd like to collab with outside of that, just on any subject, that's an even better question and one harder to answer, because it depends. It would, I reckon, depend on what subject it was. But if we're just going for like an umbrella, it'd be cool collab with somebody like Joe Rogan, because I think you'd have more freedom and like more wiggle room to introduce ideas that maybe aren't the normal. You know what I'm talking about? So, and one of the things I dig about him is the different subject matter. Like, it's not just all comedians or just all this or all. You never know who that he's going to have on his show. And to me, that's freaking awesome. It sets you apart. And I've always said, like I was in an exchange with my boy Musty on YouTube, we were joking back and forth, and I said that to him, like, that I don't want to just, none of what I'm doing is to do sports stuff. There's so much sports coverage on the internet. I ain't really trying to get into that. Hold on a second. What? Oh, night, bro. I'm sorry. Hang on. Missed a chance, bro. My bad. Oh, you're done eating. Oh, okay. Yep. I'm going nowhere. It is what it is, bro. But I've told you over and over not, to stop doing that. So I gotta do something. And I don't feel like wearing that ass out, bro. I just don't. But that's what I should do. But I just don't feel like doing it tonight. So, did you got your room cleaned up? No, I hadn't told you that yet. I meant to tell you. Hey, folks. Yeah, I didn't think about it to remind you, but you're gonna have to clean your room up before you go to bed, bro. Okay? So go get your room cleaned up, and then holler at me when you get done. All right? All right, we back. Yes, sorry, but not sorry about that. HuGGY don't never take off that daddy hat. It is what it is. And I wouldn't even if I could. You know what I'm talking about? So, put a little more light on that ugly mug, I guess. Yeah, I've never had any qualms when it comes to the daddy role. That comes first and foremost. You talk to my job, ask them. I'll die on that hill. Other than just the, desire to be a good parent. I've actually got, spiritual reasonings and all this, and it's more than just, like a Christianity thing or something like that. Because HuGGY is proudly pagan. And before anybody wants to get up on their lily white high horse, I was raised in Christianity at a very young age. I was already preaching and being groomed to be an evangelist. I don't know how many of them are around now because that's a long time ago now, but I do know a lot of the cats like Kenneth Copeland, Jesse Duplantis. I don't know. I know Kenneth Hagin Sr. is long passed away, and Jr. might be at this point in the game. Probably so, now that I think about it. But I rubbed elbows with all them guys. And not just like they come to the church and you just in passing meet them. Like, no, I was around them and talked to them. And, with me being pagan, a lot of people assumed that if I could, I would change, all that time at church and this, that, and the third. And strange enough, no, I wouldn't. I would absolutely not change any of it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I love knowledge. I can watch documentaries about subjects that I'm not even interested in, but I just love the nuts and bolts of things, how they work. It's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of thought process. Like, what'd you think of in that moment? What was your thoughts? How did you process that? I like those types of questions. So no, I wouldn't change it because of the knowledge that I gained. And y'all might find it funny, but being that deep in Christianity is what didn't push me, but it's what helped me decide to kind of be pagan, or I don't really know how you would say it, but to be a pagan, or to, hold to the pagan traditions, however you would want to say it, because whether y'all like it or not, a whole bunch, like a lot of Christianity is taken from pagan traditions. Like a lot. Christmas, Easter, all that mess. Yule log, all of it. It's all from pagan traditions. Maybe not even one specific. But it's all mostly taken from pagan religions. Or there's a lot of astrological symbolism in the Bible, a lot. And even, which I'm not talking down on anybody's religion, because whatever it is, to me, it doesn't matter if you pray into a tree. If that gets you right and you live a better life or a better person on that, then whatever, man, pray to that tree. Whatever gets you straight, I'm all for it. However, things are what they are. And a lot of Christians have a problem accepting that maybe, just maybe, that book is not dyed in wool, set in stone, the quote, whole truth, nothing but the truth, and blah, blah, blah. I know that sounds crazy, but you should go look at the people who actually wrote that book and translated it through multiple languages over centuries. And they didn't do it like right afterwards. This is like hundreds of years after it supposedly happened, they start transcribing things. So, I'm not necessarily knocking Christianity, but, yeah, it is what it is. But, and, let me also say this. For all, for every, maybe negative person I met in that world, I met another person who was phenomenal, doing good, and it wouldn't matter what they were calling it. They'd have still been helping people and, trying to bless whatever, the people and whatnot. Met a lot of cool people during that time, and now it just now crossed my mind that, man, that's like, that's, getting into the better part of 30 years ago. So I don't even, man, most of them cats probably ain't even, if they are alive, I doubt they're probably active at this point in the game. But like, for example, when I say I met, some good folks, Patrick and Tina Norris. Patrick Norris was a good dude. Like basketball too. So that obviously, we had that in common. Bruce, Cindy Black, Kevin and Annie Durant, and Bruce and Kevin played trumpet, which I did too, and so we hit it off, off of that, and I met some cool people. The lady, won't get into this story at this moment because I just don't feel like it, but maybe one day I'll tell this story. About it, a very sweet lady by the name of Mary Frances Varela spoke some things about me, and I guess you would call it prophecy, or she prophesied, or but it was a very humbling experience, especially for a child, and it was scary as hell. But it's strange that she said things that didn't kind of make sense, but now they do. So, no, I would not change, that part of my life, because it did produce a lot of positivity. And without going through all that, I wouldn't know the things that I know. That, hey, maybe it's not really what people claim it is, and, whatever. Which, like I said, I ain't bashing Christianity. I want to piss... Well, when I'm saying I don't want to piss somebody off, I don't give a damn I piss somebody off. All the buck wild mess that's shown and said on the internet, and you got a problem with me because I'm pagan, you kiss my grits. Because I'll put my character up against anybody. Especially, you're going to narrow it down to Christianity. Yeah, Jack. I'll put my morals and character up against anybody. And I bet you I don't fall. Believe that. You hear me? Yeah. Got a little fired up on that one. Let me take some of that tea. So where were we? Oh, yeah. I think I've answered all of Mussy's questions and rambled a little bit. So what else is going on? Let me get some folks up in here. Well, I'm going to call that a wrap. Catch y'all on the next one. Stay super fly. Y'all be blessed, you hear me?